Hey guys, it's me. I have a totally original video idea. So yeah, today we're ranking every single Red Dead Redemption 2 chapter from worst to best. And starting off in last place we have Chapter 1, Coulter. Chapter 1 was really just there to teach you the basics of the game. The way that the snow would slow you down as you'd walk through it or ride your horse through it was really annoying, and every mission just felt like a hassle. Especially the one where you have to hunt with Charles, or the one where you're with Javier saving John from the mountaintop. I guess Chapter 1 was kind of necessary for the story, but it was still really boring in my opinion. At 7th place we have Chapter 5, because it was straight ass. We went from playing a cool cowboy game to, oh my gosh, we're stranded on an island and we have to fight this random government and help the rebels survive in order to escape or something. Guarma really just felt like a filler chapter that was completely disconnected from anything Western, and I think it could have been turned into something way cooler or really just anything else. At number 6 we have the Epilogue Part 1. This part of the game I personally enjoyed, probably because John was always my day one OG homie, and that's kind of actually the only reason. This chapter was interesting. It was definitely a change in pace from the main game, and it gave the player base some information about what John did with his life after the gang disbanded, so that's pretty cool. And at number 5 we have the Epilogue Part 2. This chapter is pretty much exactly the same as the Epilogue Part 1, but now you're in Beecher's Hope, and I ranked this part of the epilogue higher than the other because this one has Red Harlow. I mean Uncle, or whatever. I kind of have to watch what I say because if I don't, the Red Dead Redemption mob will get me saying, oh, Uncle's not Red Harlow, it's confirmed. But anyway, I love Uncle, and that's the only reason why this part of the epilogue is going higher on the list. And also we get to kill Micah, which is pretty awesome. And at number 4 we have Chapter 4. I ranked Chapter 4 as number 4 because in my opinion, the chapter was just mid. It was better than the other chapters that we just covered, but it really wasn't memorable in my opinion. There's probably a lot of you out there that disagree with me, and you're welcome to tell me why I'm wrong in the comments, but all I remember from this chapter is robbing the Saint Denis Bank, which did nothing but bring us to Guarma, and in Guarma's an L. Next on the list at number 3, we have Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is ranked 3rd because it's not as good as the chapters that are ranked number 2 and 1, but it was by no means a bad chapter. I thought the Braithwaite and Gray's rivalry was cool, and this chapter happened right after the masterpiece of a chapter that was Chapter 2. There are a few things that I don't like about this chapter, like the whole love story between Bo and Penelope, or whatever her name was. That was really boring, and what didn't make sense was the fact that we got deputized, we got like mini-sheriffed by the Greys, and when wearing the badge he gave us, like absolutely no perks. Unless I'm stupid and didn't notice them, I would have expected to be able to get away with committing a few crimes or have the law enforcement treat us kinder. Anyway, that's all I have for Chapter 3. In second place, we have arguably the best chapter in the game, Chapter 6. This chapter is where we get to find out who the rat is, and we get to see Dutch's true colors. Not only that, but if you play the game with a high honor playthrough, and you help John escape, which by the way is the only acceptable way to play the game, you get to see Arthur die in a somewhat peaceful way, knowing that his redemption arc has been completed. To be completely transparent, this chapter had me sobbing, and the whole final mission was just tragic. They killed off my horse, which I'm still kind of salty about, and Arthur's little speech to John before staying back on the mountain and fighting Micah in the Pinkertons was just crazy touching. That's all for Chapter 6. And for our number 1 spot, we have the only chapter remaining. Chapter 2, the best chapter in the game. This chapter was peak. At this point in the game, the gang was still strong, Arthur wasn't showing any signs of his TB yet, and everything was just going perfect. The camp was beautiful, the missions were fire, like beating up Tommy in that bar fight was pretty epic. Maybe it's just the fact that the gang wasn't in the snow anymore that made this chapter so epic, and the only downside I see to this chapter is maybe the fact that in this chapter Arthur was given TB by Mr. Downs. Everything else about this chapter was perfect. I know this video is kind of short and to the point, but that's the list, so let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time my friends, stay groovy.